I wanted to go over Star Wars The Last Jedi when it comes to Rey and Obi Wan Kenobi. This is Mike Zero here once again. If you guys are new here to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, it is greatly appreciated. Now, as we go into Star Wars The Last Jedi, we do know that director Rian Johnson will be bringing some new things to the table. I wanted to look at a piece in Star Wars The Force Awakens by J.J. Abrams. One of the biggest mysteries in that film was, of course, why did they insert Obi Wan Kenobi's voice at, of course, the last minute during production, specifically during post-production? Why did they do this last minute? Well, they may have come up with a real interesting storyline for Star Wars The Last Jedi. Let me explain. Now, we do know that they brought in Ewan McGregor right at the very end of post-production to put in this very interesting piece in, of course, Star Wars The Force Awakens. And in that sequence, we do hear Obi Wan Kenobi saying, "Rey, these are your first steps," which were a mixture of both the legendary Sir Alec Guinness and, of course, Ewan McGregor, the actor who portrayed Obi-Wan in the prequels. But the biggest question lies, exactly why did they insert Obi-Wan Kenobi's voice in Star Wars The Force Awakens for the fans to hear, speaking to Rey? Now, I don't think that Obi-Wan was necessarily speaking to Rey in the moment of the vision. I honestly do believe that when he says, "These are your first steps," yes, it is a parallel to that of the Star Wars A New Hope sequence in which Obi-Wan tells Luke Skywalker,
"That's good. You've taken your first step into a larger world."
Now, when we look at that sequence, alright, we can definitely say that that is a parallel to a degree. And I think that when Obi-Wan is telling this to Rey, it's actually a Force Ghost voice of Obi-Wan Kenobi talking to Rey in the future at that point in time in The Force Awakens, at some point in Star Wars The Last Jedi. So I believe that that voice that we hear of Obi-Wan Kenobi saying, "Rey, these are your first steps," are, of course, during the events of Star Wars The Last Jedi, where Rey eventually hears a voice, either in one of the caves, or one of the sequences where she's underwater and she goes to this other hidden cave. I think it's going to be in one of those scenes. And the reason as to why I do believe in that is because we have heard that Yoda's Force Ghost is returning. A whole entire set was built over at Pinewood to accommodate a puppet. Even Frank Oz, the actor who does the voiceover work for Yoda and the puppeteer work in the original trilogy, he said he couldn't really talk about anything for Star Wars The Last Jedi, and once the film's out, he cannot wait to share some things with us. So, it's pretty safe to say that yes, Yoda is returning, and if Yoda's returning in physical form, we also heard many rumors and leaks out there that Obi-Wan Kenobi's Force Ghost returns to a degree, but only by voice, apparently. So, if he's only to return by voice, I could definitely say that that in itself is connecting to that Rey sequence in the vision in which he does hear Obi-Wan Kenobi talking to her. That is actually from the future at some point in Star Wars The Last Jedi. And, you know, it's almost meant in a literal sense. You know, these are your first steps. If you look at ahch-to, there are the Jedi steps going up to the top of the mountain where Luke Skywalker resides, you know, in those little beehive huts, which are called the Clockins. I think that in itself could be somewhat of a literal thing in a way, but it's really a parallel to that of what Obi-Wan told Luke in A New Hope. So guys, drop a comment below, let me know what you think about all of this in the comments section, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye.